Yes, today has been particularly interesting because today is dedicated to speaking pastor issues. So I spoke to Pastor Bolaji Idowu at 6 o'clock,
Yeah.
and we were talking about fears that pastors have,
Okay.
and anxieties that pastors have, and why pastors procrastinate.
Okay.
And then I spoke to Pastor Tunji Babajide also, because he's
Yeah.
a therapist, he's a coach, he's a consultant, he's a trainer, as well as a pastor.
Yeah.
And
Oh, okay.
yes. So talking to him about fear of transitioning from just doing pastor work to other things. And
Okay.
so with you, I'm hoping that we can crown every single thing. Number one.
Okay. And I wasn't part of those conversations. I would have
It's,
gotten some heads up, but I guess
no, it's okay.
the
Your
Holy
husband is a
Spirit
pastor. Your
will
husband
help
is a
us.
pastor. You're a pastor's wife.
Yes.
You're
I'm a pastor as
also,
well. I'm a
yes.
pastor's wife, but I'm also a pastor as well.
Oh, you're a
And
pastor.
and a prophet.
You're a pastor. You're a prophet. You're an international speaker. You are also a coach. A lot of people don't know that you're also a coach.
John Maxwell
So
trained, NLP
yeah.
trained,
Wow.
everything. Yes.
So how do you wear all those caps? How do you wear all those caps? How do you wear them?
And a mother and a wife to a very busy man. I absolutely have to depend on the grace of God every single day. There are times I almost work myself out, almost to the point of burnout, but I've learned to also rest, take breaks, just know when I'm reaching my limits. I'm someone that also, I believe in enjoying where you are on the way to where you're going. I believe in, I like a bit of fun, and I'm real and authentic. So I believe in enjoying yourself as well. So when it gets to a point that I am not enjoying myself, I know I need to rest. I know I need to switch off. So I try to do that, switch off, go for a walk, have me time. Yes, have me time. Just try and feed into my soul and myself and do those very things I like. Of course, apart from meditating in the word, I like listening to audiobooks, and how do I put it? Watch a clean movie or just be by myself. I must, yeah. So yeah, I I do things that I like, that are good for me, fun stuff, or maybe hang out with a very good friend, an intimate friend, or hang out with my husband if he's not going to be running things by me. Because many times when we hang out, I'm like, you run things by me a lot. So sometimes I'm like, sweetheart, this conversation is getting stressful because I want it to be a relaxing one, but we're not talking Nigeria, we're talking this stuff. Those two things, we're talking his coaching business, or what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Because he always says, you're the prophetic one, you're the, so I use him sometimes to unwind, but many times I don't use my husband to unwind. I just be by myself, because it's a lot. I run an orphanage as well. I have a shelter for women. My ministry actually started from a brothel, going out to really visit girls in brothels, talk to them, and that was where my ministry started, for the brokenhearted, for the broken, really, and the family, and that was where my ministry started, from a brothel, and yeah, God led me to have a house for them, and today I have a house for them, a shelter through the years. There's over 22 years going on now in Magodo, Lagos, and then afterwards I birthed an orphanage. So the children in the orphanage have grown up. Many of them are graduates. Many of them, between the orphanage and the shelter for young ladies, we have girls who've gone to school, those who have gotten married. As we're talking, one is about to get married, and the father of the husband is already calling me. And I'm like, why? She said, Mom, I have no mom. And it's true. She has no mother, no father. I said, but what about your uncle in the village? She said, that one. I was not responsible for me. You are the one. So they're calling and they're saying they want to come and do introduction, and I'm here in America, so we'll do it in Nigeria, but someone will stand in for me. So there are times they just say, look, we want to talk to you. FaceTime us in the orphanage, because they have people. And I say, okay, what day are we going to FaceTime? What day are we going to do? Okay. And then we do a FaceTime or a Zoom. So I wear many hats, but it's fun because God has wired me for it,
So what are pastors and pastors' wives' fears about wearing multiple hats? What are the fears?
Okay, so the major, for pastors' wives, of course, for the very busy ones, their fears are burnout, their fears are being unappreciated, and even for pastors' wives who are not super busy like I am, but are just pastors' wives, the quiet type, maybe that haven't even found their particular purpose or callings, and they're just supporting their husbands. Some are supporting their husbands, but they've also found their own vision within their husband's vision. There's one common fear that I know, and that fear is unappreciation. Many of them won't say it because you're expected to be very humble, pious, and humility is not talking. Humility is not swallowing everything. Humility is being bold to say, hey, this is what I can take. This is who I am. This is what I want. So I think there's that silent fear of being unappreciated, and many really indeed are. Or maybe we are, or should I say we or they now? They are, we are, but people sometimes don't communicate it. Because yes, the pastor husband oftentimes is the main man if he is the one that's birthed the ministry, and then you come as the wife to support. Sometimes you're invisible. Sometimes they don't see you. Wow. And you're like, really? So those are the fears that they can't speak out, because if they speak out, it will look like, oh, okay, so you're now competing with your husband. Oh, okay, so you're the one that started it. Oh, okay, must you be in the picture? I say, I want to take a picture with pastor, not you. Step aside. But you as pastor's wife may feel like, hey, I want to be in the picture too. And they're like, okay, let me take the pastor first. Then after me and pastor, then you so there's this unwritten thing. It's a fear of, and then there's also the fear of not actualizing your own dream. And so, like for me, before I started ministry or pastoring with my husband, really supporting and being in there, or when I married him as a pastor, I didn't think deeply. I wasn't afraid of, oh, maybe I won't fulfill my purpose, maybe I wouldn't. I actually thought that, oh, by marrying him, I'll also fulfill my purpose in ministry, because I knew God had called me. It was somewhere along the line that I started seeing that, girl, if you are not intentional, you will do the work with him, but you may not be able to put your finger on what you've achieved. But of course, heaven is recording everything. So if we're looking at just the spiritual side, the heavenly side, heaven is recording it big time. And many pastors' wives might get bigger crowns than their husbands. But we're talking about here on earth, how a pastor's wife's fear is she may not feel valued with all the value she might bring to the table or bring to the home. You see, some of us are at the table from day one. I've been at the table. Our pastors know, this time is 25 years. Our marriage is 27 years. So from day one, I've been at the table, okay? To the glory of God. And there's some that they married their husbands after, they started their ministry and then they came alongside. Whichever way, pastors' wives should be valued. They should be loved with their own love language. They should be supported. So you study, if you want to get close to any pastor's wife or your pastor's wife in the church that you attend, home or abroad, wherever, Australia, Germany, whatever, pastors are all over the world, we have that common thing. White, Caucasian pastors' wives, African-American pastors' wives, Nigerian, Congolese, is we want to be valued. We want to be loved with our own love language. So study your pastor's wife. And don't say, oh, I know Pastor Nike Adeyemi. Oh, she likes, you just even assume I like stuff. You may say, oh, she likes red because she, don't assume what your pastor's wife likes, who she is. Don't assume, because assumption is the lowest form. It's just the lowest form of communication or information. Ask, study, ask people who are close to her, or ask her directly. If not, if you assume, you might be wrong. Yeah, because you may think that, oh, she's quiet because because she's quiet in church, but as a person, she may not really be quiet. You may think she likes gifts, and it's not gifts. Because a lot of pastors do that. I mean, members do that. Gifts. And a lot of people give what they want to give. Okay, so you sell gold. You say, let me give her gold. You sell bags, you give her bags. She already have 10 bags, and she doesn't need the next bag. But because you're selling bag, now she will carry your bag now. So when she carries your bag, that's already free advertisement. Yep, pastors, we see through all those things. We see. And we are grateful. We are grateful. We're not allowed to complain and say, bag again. How many bags will I, You just take the bags and you're thinking, oh my God. And you can't sell it. You must be careful if you give it out, because if you give it out to a church member who is in need, that person that gave you will see it and say, hey, the bag I gave her, that I was waiting to see. The day when she would carry it in church. She never carried it, and I saw it on one small girl like that. Meanwhile, you don't know that pastors' wives have a lot of people they're responsible for. They have a lot of spiritual daughters. They see needs. So they're always giving out. But we are careful. We don't want to give out what you give us, so we'll not be angry. But we didn't tell you that's what, because if you ask me what I wanted, I'll say, just give me cash. PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, transfer. I might say, transfer 5,000 naira to me, or transfer $50 to me, rather than go and buy me a pair of shoes that cost $1,000 or 100,000 naira, and those shoes are not my size. To make matters.
Wow.
So you think you've loved me, but you've only loved yourself. And I'm not saying the shoes are not valuable, but you sell shoes, so it's more like, she'll wear it, and then they will see that she's wearing my shoes. So sometimes we'll rather that. But another pastor's wife may say, cash, no, I want gifts. So again, that brings us to the love languages, which you know so much. You're an emotions coach. It still boils down to that. What does she like? Notes, whereby you just write a note or a text to her. Thank you, ma'am. Even if she didn't preach that day, or even if she doesn't preach, just because pastor is looking together, do you think she may have had a hand in the color combination, in the packaging, behind the scenes? Do you know whether she's the brand manager? She's the everything. She's the one that feeds him. Do you even know how many unpaid, that is only heaven that is saying thank you, and the pastor too. And God help you, pastor's wife, if your husband is not a very grateful man. Because there's also that. There are some pastors, they haven't come to actualize themselves. They haven't come to realize that they must celebrate their wives. If nobody celebrates them, they must celebrate their wives at home. And then, of course, sometimes in public too, if they're led, you could just, mention her in church, turn to her. Some pastors don't want that. And they're like, but it's like, it's good. It's good. Let people know that you may not see her. She may not be obvious, but there is a lot she's doing to keep me sane. Okay?
Wow.
And so let's go on. I mean, there are other fears too, but I just wanted to address that of being valued. Fear of not losing yourself in this man's identity. So it's good. You are one. Work as a team. My husband and I work as a team, but let her, of course, it's God that would always settle all our fears, but don't be an addition to the fear. Church members, hello, don't add to that fear. And the husband of the pastor's wife, hello, you may not be on this table, but don't add to that fear. I know you can't make anyone secure. When we talk about being secure, we don't say, hey, it's only God that can make you secure. Find your security in God. Yes, but must you be the one to take away even the little security she has, the little esteem she has, that she's still building it? Maybe when she married you, she had low self-esteem and she's still building. Must you be the one to now remove the little low self-esteem that is left? Or can you be the healer? Can you be the one that, after I married you, wow, my confidence went to another level? Though we say don't wait for marriage to make you happy. Don't wait for your spouse to make you happy. We speak and we preach those things a lot. Pastors preach it, coaches preach it, motivational speakers preach it. But hello, must you also be the reason for my sadness? Because we say now that, you too, don't wait for husband to make you happy. Find your happiness. But excuse me, is it a wrong thing to try and make each other happy? Do you know, though we can't be everything, we can't be God. Your husband can't be God in your life. And you too, woman, husband who is pastor, your wife can't be God in your life. She can't dot the I. She can't, because if not, it will be impossible. This thing has to balance. It has to balance.
and Pastor Nike, how does all of these things, right? All of these things that you have identified, how do they create challenges in the marriage?
Challenges in marriages are created, like, you know, I mean, coach, this is your area, but it's good that we're zeroing on my constituency, right? You know that in any marriage, when needs are not met, over time, it's not just, oh, you didn't meet my needs today, fine. But if it's so consistent, you are consistently not meeting each other's needs, it's going to head for the rocks. I mean, as in, you're so consistent. I mean, I heard this, I don't know if it's a true story or whatever, like, okay, this couple came to a counselor and the wife said, look, my husband doesn't say, I love you to me. He doesn't love me, She was like, say, how do you know? She said, he doesn't say, I love you. Eh? And then the pastor or the counselor or whoever, the pastor or counselor now turned to the husband and said, is that true? You don't love her. Is that true? He said, pastor. He said, but she said, you don't say, I love you. You're supposed to say it. You know it in your heart, but you should say it because she wants to hear it. The man said, pastor, when we got married, 4 years ago, is it 3 years ago, when we got married, at the altar, I said, I do. I have not changed my mind since then. So since I have not said, I don't love you, since I have not said, what I said then still stands. That is the mentality of some pastors, some men, and even women too. So, but because we're trying to heal the women in this conversation right now, right? So we may not be able to balance it and be giving the women their own, right? Yes, yeah. We're trying to bring out the women's fears so that any man that listens to this will have compassion, or any church member, anyone that's close to a pastor's wife will have compassion and say, oh my God, really? And another fear about pastors' wives is that they cannot talk about oftentimes they can't talk about what they're going through in marriage. Who do they talk to? Do they talk to a church member? Who do they talk to at the end of the day? Do you get? Because if they talk to a church member, the church member looks up to them for counsel, for leadership. So whose neck do you go cry on when the issue is about your husband? It's about pastor now, not about you. I mean, it's another thing like, oh, you work out there and your boss did you bad, or a colleague. You can get home and tell your husband, say, see what they did to him. Now say, oh, sorry, and encourage you, hopefully. But when it's about him, or if he's someone that has zero empathy, some pastors or men, even some women who don't have empathy, and they've not learned to try and, build a bit of it. So a pastor's wife sometimes is tempted to talk to a church member, or maybe that mature one, maybe that older lady who is in church, and that might be a bit safe. Well, if she has a friend who's a church member, she doesn't know when she just blurts out and spills out everything. And God help her, if that church member stroke friend of hers, one day is not in a good mood and shares that with somebody else. So pastors' wives are afraid. They want to open up. They too want friends. They too want bestos, one-on-one, go for lunch with them. But if that friend is a church member and they fall out one day, or I don't know, her story could be all over the place. Not just her story, but his story. Pastors' wives are very protective of their husbands. They are. No matter the amount of fight, let me tell you, pastors' wives will usually not uncover their husband. It's like it's not an oath, like you must not, but it's just something that we see how so hard they work in the ministry, that because I'm now angry, I'm now going to report my husband to someone. What about when we finish it now, the fight? That person will now be seeing him as less than. Do you see? So we are protective, kind of like that. And that's why you sometimes see cases of abuse. And it's so obvious that maybe this man is abusing his wife. He's not treating her well. He's treating the women in the church even much better. And you almost feel sorry for her. When you look at her, it doesn't look like she feels sorry. It looks like, she's You know, there was recently a pastor, I won't mention the name, but there was recently a pastor I saw on social media, and he had to sort out some cases. I won't mention the name. He had to sort out a case of allegation and everything. And the wife was right beside him. And I read the comments on that post that I stumbled on. And someone said, this one is just nodding. So why did he bring his wife to come? And why is it that when he runs into some drama or trouble, the wife will now come and like, let me tell you, there is no need to talk down at her or anything. This is the love of her life. Even if he's accused of infidelity, she will be there with him. If he says, you know what, babes, we're going for that interview together. You know, why is it when there's drama, you now hold along? Because you know that she's an asset. Because you know she has a clean record. Because you know that with her by your side, they'll say, see, the wife is even supporting him. That means that he's right. That means that other person is the wrong. Do you understand? So pastors' wives are afraid of being used. Only when the chips are down, that's when you know me.
Wow.
You call me when the chips are up. Why don't, I'm not saying all pastors do this, but let this thing balance, I beg. You know, let it balance. It's not a matter of, yes, someone says, what's the pretense? It's not like we want to it's not like pastors' wives want to pretend. I have a lot of compassion for pastors' wives, but I'm just trying to say what they think. To a large extent, and I'm not exonerating myself. I'm a bit of a radical pastor's wife. I'm a bit of my real woman is a name. It's my AKA. It's my nickname, the real woman. Yes, it's not just the name of my foundation. I say it as it is. I'm authentic. I'm real. But I know that even as a pastor's wife, when it comes to maybe my husband matter, there'll be a line. But people know I've done interviews with Buki. I've done interviews with various people that I'm real. And my husband knows. He knows. You know, you come and say, so vulnerability is the way forward. I say, yes, so it's the way forward. You two have to learn it. It's the way forward for leaders. Because it will do a lot for you. Yes. And you know, and there are sometimes statements I repeat that I always say when I'm on maybe when people ask me questions I really touch it. How did you in the early marriage? I say, I did. When we said this, my husband said, this is not husband and wife ministry. I said, child. And sometimes I also tell them, that story, you flogged it. I say, it's my story, it's my story. You say, it's my pain, I will use it. You know, but he knows, and then we laugh over it, you see. But now, because 25 years after, or 27 years after, it's no longer a pain. But for me, I will use it. So people know that, this woman went through something. Let them have empathy for me. And then he laughs over it. You know, it's no longer a sore point. If it was still a sore point, I won't say it because when I'm uncovering him. Do you see? And it builds, it's a positive for him too, because maybe people feel like, Pastor must be strong, to let Pastor Nike, allow her to, what is not. And you see, when people talk that way, you've already tipped the scales. You've already unconsciously said, this man is better than her. This is the main one. She's the addendum. You know, and so our African man, our Africanness, or our male chauvinism, and all that doesn't help matters for pastors' wives. Even when you're not a pastor's wife, just a woman there out there, you're a strong woman working, you have to still work twice as hard to be approved, kind of, or to get the income that your male counterpart that you got into that organization at the same time. Not to now talk about pastor's wife. You know, as a young pastor's wife, as a young pastor's wife, people, even some women, on set, they won't say it, but you could read it in their faces and their body language. They would act as if pastor was their property. Then me, I am the addendum. And then I look at it, I say, Father, I thank you, Lord, that we married before, at least we were like 2 years married before we started this. Do you understand? So what if he has been pastoring this our church for like 10 years and then he married me? Hell, those kind of pastors, what would they, because the church will feel like, we were here before you came. Me that I've been there from the beginning. Sometimes I still feel, is this thing balancing? But you know, it's okay. Pastors' wives, get over your fears, be healed. And then that's why we have Coach Lanre here. We have the catalyst and we're talking about how you can be healed. I'm all for healing. I'm all for not just physical healing because I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm here for emotional healing and physical healing too, because I almost forgot, oh my God, God always says, pray for healing in your meetings, because when people are healed of emotional things, they will be healed physically as well. So he always tells me, expect physical healing as well. Okay, you know. So I'm up for healing because I've known rejection. It sucks. And I don't want to see any woman rejected. But you see, you can't stop people rejecting you, pastor's wife. You can't stop people rejecting you. Number one, as long as you don't reject yourself, know who you are. Until you say I am, nobody will say thou art. And it's not a matter of competition. Find your own pathway. Find your own child. While supporting him as a team, ask God, where is my gold? Where is my oil? Begin to pour your oil. Your oil may not be on the pulpit. It may even be in intercession. It may be in prayer. And before you know it, pastor is bringing money home and say, they say I should give you. I'm like, who preach? You say, they say I should give you, you know, or you just see things in your bank account, or, you know, just maybe cooking food. Make food. Your recipes are amazing. You know, so just find your own pathway. And for me, until I found that I was the real woman, TV host, the one that goes out to the brothel, until I was named that outside, I didn't even find my place in our church. Because in our church, after a while, when I faced my ministry outside on the streets, girls on the street, then in our church, early in those days, they don't know when I'm to preach or go up, they said, let's welcome the real woman. The first day they said, I'm like, what? Oh my God. Okay, Lord, thank you.
Wow.
You know? So pastor's wife, don't struggle for microphone with your husband. There's your proper place. You know, and if he says, just support me for now, this is what I want you to do, do it faithfully till God opens you up to other things. Because when you've supported him, he will in turn support whatever vision you also have, you know.
Wow.
So over to you, Catalyst.
So, Pastor Nike, how does a pastor's wife, how does she find her place? How does she find her voice? How does she find herself in the midst of all of this?
She must go to God and not be anxious about it. Philippians 4:6, you know, to 8, it says, do not be anxious or do not be careful or worried about anything. But with prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, make your request known to God, and the peace of God that passes all understanding will guard your heart and mind. You know, and it says also to maintain that peace, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are beautiful, whatsoever things are good report, think on these things, meditate on these things, you know, and the peace of God will guard your heart. You must have peace at all costs, because without peace, you won't even receive anything. So go to God, because he made you. Pastor's wife, he made you. He made you. And he didn't have a nightmare when he made you. 2, he was also having good dreams when he decided that, okay, this is the person you should marry, or this person chose you. So you go back to your creator. Your husband didn't make you. Your husband didn't make you. Committee didn't make you. Actually, they were not on the conference call. The only people that were on the conference call when you were hatched in the mind of the Trinity was Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. So you go to them. I say, Lord, what did you put in me? Because God didn't make non-entities. Nobody's a non-entity. God did, you know, Jesus said, occupy till I come, which means that there's a space you're supposed to take. God is wise. He's not a, how do I put it? He's not a loser, and there's something he's wanting to gain from your life. So you go back to him. And God is sweet to walk with him. I remember the early days of, even before we started Daystar, when my husband, who was a pastor of a branch church for about 2 years before we started Daystar. And when we started, he was so busy, ambitious. My husband was and he still is. Don't look at ambitious as a negative word. He was very ambitious. I have now become also ambitious. And honeymoon, after resume work, coming home at what? I'm like, what? He said, no, you know, I've just resumed. So I said, no, tell me this is how it will be. You'll be coming home every day, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Just tell me this is how it will be. So I'll back home and say, no, this is not. And then I tell, you know, in those days, there were times I cried my eyes out because I felt lonely. And one day I cried, my eyes were swollen. I went to the bathroom, I looked at myself. And when I saw my eyes, I started round 2 because I'm like, is this me? I'm being vulnerable now. Oh my God. Afterwards, I hope I won't think I'm like, Nike, what did you do? If you like, use it against me. I'm healed already, okay? I'm married 27 years to the glory of God. But
this is real talk. This is real talk.
Those were
real
the
talk.
early days. And you know, I would cry. And then one day I went to God and I said, God, I feel guilty even crying that I'm lonely because, Lord, he didn't go to beer parlor. He didn't go to, this man is very saved. He was saved, I don't know, maybe from his teenage years, well before he met me, you know. And so, why should I feel bad? But I said, but this hurts, God, because in marriage, we're supposed to bond. We're supposed to come running home after work. But I know, so what used to happen was that he worked during the day, and then when he's about to close at 4, 5 o'clock, when he's about to leave, that's when some people are coming from their own secular job and running to the pastor's office, the former branch, you know, to say, Pastor, I was coming. There were no phones in those days. Think about 27, 26 years ago. Pastor, I was coming to see you after work, just hoping I'll catch you. So the story was always the same. As I was about leaving church, this person was coming. So I waited to counsel her. And before I finished, another person met me there. Those that came for their midweek meeting met me. So it's like same old, same, you know. And I saw a bit of it in courtship too. I just thought, oh, okay, we'll get married. We'll get, but, you know, it was the same thing. You know, so I used to throw a pity party. But after a while, the Lord began to, you know, encourage me. And so that's why I'm saying, you go to God. Anything, your pain, finding your purpose, whatever, go to God. And God will. So I remember in those days, I would sing love songs to God. And there's one day it occurred to me that, wait, before I met this man, I met God. Obafemi Awolowo University, Great Ife. That's where I went. That was where I really got saved, or should I say, give my life to Christ. I read architecture, so I was on that campus for like 7 years. you know, well, I started out in another university and then I transferred there, but I was there for a long time because it ran into my master's straight. And spent a lot of time, got saved, got serious with God, Christ Love Fellowship. So I knew the love of God. The love of God was birthed in my heart. That fellowship was like my Bible school. I didn't know that I was in Bible school while I was studying my architecture. And so early in our marriage, I now realized that, you know what, Nike. So when I have those moments, I just cry, I just go to God and I start. You are the love of my life. Father, you are. And it's true, I meant it sincerely. That you are my first love, God. I met you. I was in love with you, Lord. Before I now met him in this Lagos where I came to serve and where he also came to work from Ilorin. We were both not Lagosians. We met here. So I go back to my roots. I go back to the fact that in my family, I'm the firstborn. He's also the firstborn in his family. I'm also the firstborn in my family. If both our parents on both sides, as we speak now, 2021, both of them are alive. His parents are alive, my parents are alive. My parents are both 81. I call them every Sunday. So you can see that I've been a leader from my youth. You know? So I've been, even till now, when my mom calls, you say, are you hearing from your brothers? My brothers that live in Maryland, America. I'm like, I'm hearing for them. Okay, take care of them. I'm like, let them take care of me too. You get, because when you're the firstborn, your parents don't even realize that your brothers are 50 years old and 47 and they no longer, but that is just from youth. That's just how it is. You're looking out for everybody. So I'm a bit of a mother hen. And I think that's why I fit into the pastor's wife thing easily. But then you begin to say, God, but I'm important too. But I also want someone to love on me as well. You know, so growing up, I was loved. My dad is called Baba Nike. He's a prof. That means Nike's daddy, Mama, you know. And then I now marry this man, come into ministry, and it's like, it doesn't even look like you're existing. That was hard. So I would cry to God and sing love songs, and the Lord will encourage me. He will say things to me about my destiny, and I will write them down. And I'll come out of that place with him, you know, feeling very like pumped and loved and like, okay. And that will carry me for, you know, for a while. And I also realized that, okay, when my husband is there, we're lovey-dovey, is really looking my direction, where I found that, my quiet time is like small, like, I'm not deeply into God. That was in those early days I'm saying of marriage. I mean, I'll pray, I would whatever. But when I see him moving away from me, like he's so busy, doesn't have time, that's when I say, God, I'm sorry. We're supposed to be in a love relationship. So God did it for me. The love of God. Friends, I'm telling you, even not just for pastors' wives, if you can get into the love of God, people call me love apostle, love prophet, until I begin to feel like, okay, these love things, they're not looking too cheesy. Because with that love thing too, people seem to feel like, oh, she's so loving, she's so empathetic, and they feel they can take advantage of it. So I'm saying, I'm even going to rebrand. I'm still a love person at heart, but again, people don't like using love in the corporate world and everything. But love is customer service. Love is faithfulness. Love is goodness, you know. And so that was where the love of God was brought in my heart. In Christ Love Fellowship and early days of my marriage, where I said, Lord, come. You are the love of my life. You love me. This man, he didn't die for me. I don't know if he can die for me, but Jesus, you died for me. And the Bible says in Ephesians 3, it says that you may know the length, the depth, the breadth of the love of God that passes all understanding. Look, when the love of God is real to you, rejection from anyone, anywhere, it would literally slide off your back. It won't sink in, except if you forget that you are loved by God. But the moment you remember, you'll be like, come on, compared to that, they are not God now. You are just your crown and you move on. So I would say, sisters, get into the love of God, one-on-one with God. And let him show you, let him tell you things. And then watch those things come to pass. And take steps towards those things. Take steps. Okay, it says you're going to be a millionaire, you're going to be a wealthy woman. Have you bought stocks? What are you investing in? You know, just start, and then you will see him open you up.
Wow, this is
and then have your team, and then pray for a friend. Ask God for a friend. If your husband is not, don't leave him. Grow, develop your marriage. Be there for him. If he's not 100% there for you, if he's there for you 30 and you are 70, you want it to be 50-50 or 100. Still do your bit. One day his eyes will open and say, God, I don't know how this woman didn't leave me. Mercy. And then you try to make up, So hang in there, and if God gives you a friend, may not be a church member, maybe you can actually pray for a friend, maybe another pastor's wife, someone with kindred spirit, that you can go for lunches one-on-one together and share. Even when you share and you complain to one another, at the end of the day, hold hands, end it with prayer, and strengthen one another.
Wow.
Over a cup of tea and biscuits. You'll be good to go.
Wow. This is so profound. So what we want to do is we want to take questions from, people that are tuned in. So if you're a pastor's wife, if you're a pastor yourself, you've got questions for Pastor Nike. She's been real. She's been open. She's been vulnerable. And that is Pastor Nike for you. She's one of my favorite people in the whole world with Reverend Sam. Both of them, I love them to death. They are two of my realest favorite people in the world. They are the way they say that they are.
And he's real too. He's now very real. He's also
very real. Very real. So if you've got a question for Pastor Nike, just ask.
Okay, I'm scrolling to see if I can find questions, but I see a comment here. Anne showed deep. He said, I'm one of the people that gave you tough time in Remayaba. Okay, so Remayaba was where he was pastoring as a young branch pastor, single, and then he saw me in the congregation and fished me out. As our sister used to roll eye, like, okay, why her out of everybody? When he says, close your eyes and worship, does he actually open his eyes and then he saw her? So this lady said, I'm one of the people that gave you tough time in Remayaba. Always waiting to see Reverend Sam. I forgive you, and you are in my corner now because I always see you on my Insta commenting, and I think you live here in the US now, right? Yeah. So so that means she's coming out feeling like, yes, we gave her. There was one day, I'm looking for the questions, but there was one day. We hadn't had children yet. We had just gotten married maybe a few months afterwards. And it was a Sunday and people were queuing up to see him. And I was like, I was tired. I was like, so I now went to join the queue. I entered his office. He said, I said, yes, it's my turn. He said, okay, now, okay, I'll soon be ready. No, I said, no, it's my turn. I actually stayed on the queue. So, counsel me. He got the message. He said, let's go.
Wow.
Oh, my God. What if the woman, okay, now someone asked a question like, what if the woman is the pastor? Okay, what if the woman is the pastor and the husband is not okay, how do we answer that now? So if the woman is the pastor and the man is he might be a pastor or he might be a businessman, not pastor. She will, how do I put it? I think it won't be tough on him. It shouldn't be as tough on him because just the fact that he's a male and he's right beside her, supporting her, if he has a good esteem, people will respect him. So she won't suffer the rejection and all that because she's their pastor. She birthed the church, or maybe she birthed it as a single person, and then she now got married along the line and he came. They will respect him because they will know that she still defers to him at home. There'll be a respect because people, coach, you know, people naturally respect men now. Man. People respect men naturally in our own culture, Africans. You know, I don't know. Men are more easily respected no matter their portfolio. So I think it's easier, but the man has to have a good self-esteem to marry. And women who are pastors who marry men who are like businessmen, it's good because the men already know. Like Joyce Meyer, okay, Joyce Meyer is not a pastor, but she's a ministry woman, and the man supports her. He doesn't want to hold the microphone. He just wants to. So he believes that that's his own job to even keep her from burnout. I heard her say once saying that he's the one that he says, okay, we're not going on that tour where we're not going on that ministry tour. It's too close together. We've got to give it space. You've got to rest, you know, and stuff like that. She said because of him, we cut up our credit cards years ago because he was looking at, he takes care of the admin side. Someone said, if my husband is a pastor, I won't be any mommy pastor, Rara. I will attend elsewhere to avoid sacrifice. I will attend elsewhere. If my husband is a pastor, no. If your husband is a pastor, you can't be attending another church. I won't be any mommy pastor. I will attend elsewhere to avoid sacrifice. No, this wasn't talking. Okay, simple fun events. I know you now. You'll be attending another church. Not possible. You don't want to be mommy pastor. Yes, because sometimes that mommy thing puts I mean, I know it's honor, but for me it's good, it's bittersweet. Yeah, people on my Instagram, people are commenting, mom. I'm like, where do I know these people? Of course, some of them are church members, some of them are not. I feel like, oh, this is they all call her mom, let me also call her mom, not knowing that I don't always like it, but I can't run away from it because part of my calling when I just got married was the Lord told me in those days when I didn't look like it. One of the words he gave me when I went to pray, and I said, God, what is going on? He said, you're a mother of mothers. Women older than you will come and lean to you. And I was only 26 years old. No kid yet. I was praying to God about my purpose, and I was praying to have children. And he said, the seed of healing is in you. And today that has come to pass, that even women older than me, you know, come to me.
Somebody is asking here, a follow-up to what you just said. How can I cope as a young pastor's wife, managing her business, her children, and ministry? I hardly have time for myself. How can I cope?
Sis, you have to have time for yourself. So first of all, you're going to make a list of everything you are, like you have itemized it. On top of that list, number one is I am me, child of God. Before you put wife, we always start with wife, mother, businesswoman, no. Me first, you are you, or child of God. You know, a person before you now put wife. Many times we start from wife. And when we start from there, we are not in the equation. We're not in the equation at all. So when you itemize all that, you find out that your core must always be strong. You must have time for yourself. Meditation, that is just you and God. Not praying or reading Bible because you are to take the Bible study tomorrow. No, this is just you feeding your soul. Feeding your soul. Because if you are not strong, you can't cater for anybody. Because if you break down emotionally, mentally, or physically, they will say, next. God forbid, even your hobby, after a while, you will say next. Even if you will not say next, other people will say, sir, who is next?
Wow.
You know? And God forbid, your children too, when they say next and they find somebody else, then that will be the new mommy now. So, yeah. And even your business too. They'll find another boss, and that's if the business even continues. There are places where people work and they said, we mourn our destiny, and the next day the HR has put an advert out for that position. So you've got to be very tenacious about resting and having time for you. Build it into it. Don't say, when I'm tired, I will rest. Actually, Build that 1 hour every day for a walk. Build in that time when you say, children, you know what, just give mommy 30 minutes. Here are your toys. You may not have a nanny or whatever, but you should be able to say, okay, you know what, here are your toys, here are your snacks. Give them whatever you want to give them and go and get sanity alone somewhere. And then come back refreshed. Every day, you must build that in, or maximum by the weekend.
Somebody says, please talk to us about women and finances.
Oh,
it's really affecting our marriages these days.
Finances. One of my protégés, Shola, she always tells people, she said once on one Zoom that we had, she said, my mentor, mom, she goes, mom, she says, she can be minister of finance. I like Shola. And she knows, because she knows certain things about me. So that's one side of me that I don't show. Because how many will you write in your bio? How many will you write? They say, let's do one thing. Let's have niche. And my husband knows this. I'm the investor in the family. And I'm saying this with all confidence. He might be on this live, or he might be within earshot from here, because he was here when I was setting up and everything. And he knows. So this is not, I'm not putting him down, and I'm not trying to be bold that, yes, I'm not saying that I'm the financier of the family. I'm not saying that I'm going to feed everybody and pay the school fees. I am not saying that, because some women carry that heart. But I'm saying that I am the investor in the family. And he will tell you that there's a lot too he's been enjoying, or we've been enjoying, from my prophetic gift. I don't know economics. I don't know GDP, all those things. But for years and years, especially from 2014, I'll tell my husband, the oil is going to dry up. Because the Holy Spirit told me the oil is going to dry up, Nigeria's oil. And I didn't know what Nigeria's oil was worth. I knew it was our mainstay, and we had taken our eyes away from agriculture, which was supposed to be our major income. Now God said, sweetheart, I think we should be buying Forex. Like, okay. And he obeyed, and we looked at it, and we started buying Forex. When things started happening, we were smiling to the bank. Not that we had a lot of money, but I couldn't come out and say, hey, the few people I told, they were like, why didn't you tell us that? Why didn't you tell us that? Prophetess. I'm like, okay, so I should come to the altar and say, this time members start buying Forex. I'm not that kind of prophet, or then I wasn't that confident in my prophetic gift. So we only use it for the house and for the family. So many things are happening today. And don't ask me, but many financial things. And when I tell my husband, I say, sweetheart, you know I don't know economics. It wasn't one of my favorite subjects. But this is what I'm feeling about finances. The time I was feeling about stocks, the time I was not feeling about stocks. I'm not a stocks person, I'm a real estate person. As an architect, what do you expect? I'm a real estate person, because I'm brick and mortar. I must see it. I'm very, very untrusting, and that's why I didn't do cryptocurrency. I didn't do Bitcoin. But I know Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is good and is real. And that's why when Nigeria canceled the thing, it pained me. I'm like, what? I didn't do it, and I didn't have to gloat in, thank you, Lord, that I'm not doing it. No, I was pained for the many people who do it, for the many youths who do it, who don't have a job, but on their laptop every day they are trading. So I know that was so wrong. I'm the kind of person now that some months ago, I was thinking gold. Don't mind me, I've not bought the gold, though. But gold was flashing in my mind as something to invest in. You see, gold won't yield you multiples of income like stocks, but you can buy and keep. Because when the dollar fails, and I'm not telling you the dollar will fail, so don't say she's prophesying, but there's so many things I cannot say on this platform. And that is to tell you that as a woman, listen to me. You must be an investor. You must take your finances very seriously. Do not wait for your husband. So people think that that's pride. So you don't wait for your husband to take care of you. Why would you? See, if you have money already and he wants to take care of you, let him take. That will be on top of what you have. And number two, this is my philosophy. He has his account, I have my account, and then we have a joint account that we use together for whatever project we want to do. Or say we want to give Larry Shola a check, or we want to present a common front. Then we let it come out of that joint, because that joint account with Samuel and Nike Adeyemi, right? So joint account is good, but the thing is that, do you eat the same meal? I might like oats and he likes ogi, or I might like pap and he likes coffee. Let's be real. If a package comes to our house, if someone sends a package, and in that package there's a suit, men's suit, tie, men's pants, that complete, and then there is what else? Okay, and that's it, right? And a pocket handkerchief or whatever. And it comes, and on the package, Sam and Nike Adeyemi, and it arrives in our house. I'm like, hey, we have a package whose name is for both of us, and we open it, and I open it. And I see that, coach, who owns that gift? Who will wear those? Who will wear the pants and the tie? Will I say, let's cut it into two? Will I say, no, I will take the tie, you will take it? No. They wrote both our names on it, but when we opened the package, it was clearly for him. But in that package, there could be something else that's clearly, you know, there could be books in it, and the books will be, okay, which one do you want? Because as you read books, you should also read books. So, but there could be something that a brooch, earrings. Last time I checked, my husband has not pierced his ears. So if there's a set of earrings there, the person doesn't have to put a post-it and say, this one is for Nike, this one is for Sam. When we open it, we know who has what. Yet it was addressed to both of us. So when I invest and when I have money of my own, and which I had before I married him, and not much, I was a copper, but I was saving, and he also, we've both grown through this. So we share, we help each other out. He pays the school fees, but I say, hey, bros, do you need help? Say, oh, if you need help, just tell me, join. And I will add to it when I need to add to it, especially since as children, you know, have schooled abroad and it's heavy, you know, but you first be saying, okay, I'm good. I will handle. But after a while, I say, let me join. I will not have to, you know, yes. So he's been a good man, but I try to watch where I need to support him. You know, so it's so sweet when you have, because woman, when you have your money, and for the men who will listen to this, let me tell you something. Never be threatened when your woman, your wife has money, because number one, she'll be able to take care of her parents. She won't say, come and take care of my parents for me. She won't say, come and take care of my parents. But I have what I send my parents every month, automated from my Nigeria account. What goes to mommy goes to mommy, what goes to daddy goes to mommy. It is standard. It is on a certain day of the month, it goes. When my mom said, I didn't see, I said, mommy, you saw it. Maybe you didn't get a lot, but it went. Are you sure of it? You don't need to check. It is in standing order. It is a standing order. So if he now wants to give them anything in addition, he can. But it's not like, you are not giving mommy anything this month. Why should he come and be giving my parents anything? So whatever money you have, men, I want to tell you this, and I want women to have this mindset. Whatever money you have as a woman, know that it is for you, and for your husband, and for your children. God forbid that you die. Maybe you die before him, you will not die young. But if you die, let me tell you, whose is it? Whether you have a will or not, it reverts to him. Especially in America here, in Nigeria, I don't know whether the government will just take it. But in the bank, you've already written his name as next of kin. So even in America here, if you don't have a will, there are states here where you don't have to write it there. Everything is joint. Even if it's only your name on the property. If you go like this, it reverts to him. There are states like that. So if you don't want to do that kind of guy, you want to come and live in America, go and look for the states in America. Georgia state is like that. Go and look for the states where they do not view you as having what you have is together. So even if you buy land and you buy it only in your name, let him know. There was a time I bought land in Nigeria, Lagos, you know, and they're doing, some people are contributing something or whatever. I say, hey, you are doing, okay, I'm doing, and I bought it in my name. There was one I bought in my name. We already had our own house then. And I said, this one is just for investment. I said, fine. But the fact is that it's for both of us. I bought it in my name because then if I want to dispose of it, I dispose of it. If I want to sell it, I use it for something. You won't say, wait, so it's investment. For investment purpose, for business purposes. Do you see? And it is his. Because I can't watch him have a need or the children have a need and say, I know daddy must come. Go and look at the Proverbs 31 woman. He said she considereth a field and she buyeth it. King James Version. She didn't say, let daddy come. And they brought the land. Daddy has traveled. They brought the land. Say, madam, do you want for the family? This is a very cheap land. He didn't say, our guy is not at home. No. Let him come and say, sweetheart, I bought land though in our name. Say, will he be angry and say, who sent you? Who sent you? He will not say who sent you because you used your own money, the one you have. You didn't want deep hand in the joint act. You took your own to buy. Why will he be angry? And if he's angry, you now say, okay, let me go and sell it and recoup the money back. You now say, okay, do you think it's a good one? It's a good one, he's going to appreciate. So it's mine because you can't take anything to the grave. So men, please don't be very secure if your woman wants to do, because some women have itching hands, business, and the business, I was selling books since and I still have a bookshop. I must be doing something. There were times as a single, I baked cakes, I made cards, you know. So just, it's all good. When you
just
have
do
money
something.
and
Just do something.
Wow. I
Wow.
believe that for women, finances is like eating. It's like finances is not a big thing. Finances is like you will eat breakfast and you will eat, except if you are fasting, you eat your lunch because you are responsible towards your body. Your body. If you don't eat, don't think it's your husband you are helping or your children. You are helping your physical body. So finances and investing to me is the same. It's just that I may invest $10,000. Somebody else may invest $100. Or I may start with $100 today. It grows. Investing is investing. It's at different levels, and then you begin to grow. And when you see the money multiply, there's confidence. Number two, because pastors, where you are a giver, I don't know if you're like me, giving is one of my callings. I must have money to give people. I can't go and be asking my husband, I want to give. The other day was telling me that, oh, do you know it was okay, so today or was it yesterday was a driver, in Nigeria, his wedding or whatever. So he was telling me that, do you know I won't mention his name, so-and-so's wedding tomorrow or something. And I said, yes. So what can we give him? I said, we're already giving him something on our behalf. I'm allowed. I'm sorry. In your own family, in your own marriage, you may not be allowed. And if you are not allowed, please don't do like me. To ask your husband first. Tell him that, it's so-and-so's wedding. What are we giving them? Now say, okay, give him so-and-so. Okay, let's take it from joint account. But we're so busy. He's busy. I mean, so sometimes I do things like that. And I say from both of us. And he will be getting thank you from the person. I'm saying, hey, did you give this one? I say, yes, we did on both of us. Or someone is thanking me. I said, did you give someone? I say, yes, yes.
Wow. Thank you very much, Pastor Nick here. I don't want Instagram to cut us off. I think we've done almost 1 hour. We're giving three things out. First thing that we're giving out is we have a class where we're going to be helping people eliminate all their fears, all their phobias and anxiety. And we're giving 2 free tickets to you for your followers. So whatever you determine will be who gets it. There are 2 free tickets. Also, we'd like to invite everybody to attend that class. We're giving a 45% discount. It's a 2-day class. If you register, you get a 45% discount. Also, there's a free fear test. If you are anxious, if you have phobias, if you have fears, there's a fear test that we've created. It's free. My EA is going to post the link to the fear test. If you also find that you are procrastinating, instead of taking the right action, right, you are always, postponing it, and you want to find out why you are constantly procrastinating, there's also a procrastination test that is free. All right. So make sure that you take advantage. Pastor Nika is going to post, what the challenge. She has 2 free tickets. Secondly, you get a 45% discount. Just go to my Instagram now and you find out how you can register. Or go to the bio.
Lanre.
Yes, at Lanre Olushola. Go to my bio and you will find the link where you can click, and then you will find all the tests on it. On that note, we want to say a big thank you to you, Pastor Nike, for being real. I said that you are one of my favorite people. This is the reason why. Always real. Every interview that I've been with you is almost like we should not end. Unfortunately, every good thing must have an end. So thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Help me greet Reverend Sam and the children. And everybody, make sure that you click on the link. If you cannot get the link on that has been posted, just go to my Instagram at Lanre Olushola. Go to my bio, and you will see the link there. On that note, good night, everyone.
So good night, everyone.
In Atlanta time. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye.